This is a sleeve I worked on towards the end of last year, just in the final days of 2024. It's a tiger and samurai, based on a illustration from a woodblock print from Kuniyoshi. This our stencil machine doesn't make stencils in one huge sheet, so I stitch it together from parts slightly bigger than A4. Just checking it lines up there. I often have clients stood up to put stencils on and draw on the skin, but for this particular one it worked with him lying down. Especially, it can be difficult to get around a leg and draw on background with someone stood up, without having them stand on a high table or something. Sometimes I have to, but with this one, the structure of his leg, it worked well laying down. Drawing on the background with some brush pens. We will extend it into a full leg. Daly has a back piece from me of a Hanya and Dragon. That was finished 3-4 years ago, maybe. I also did chest plates and fixed up some older work on some of his sleeves, I think. What to say about this one? I'm watching it on a monitor here. It's also playing up there. I started around near his knee. It's not a nice place to start to get tattooed, but it's. I'm right-handed. That was to the right side of the design as I was looking at it. He sat really well. Didn't seem to phase him, didn't flinch. It can be quite a painful place though. On this, some of the lines I built up the thickness of the lines to accentuate the brush effect. I draw with a brush pen a lot of the time, usually on paper with a brush pen. This particular one was done in Procreate on an iPad, but I still use a brush pen there, and a lot of the description of the line is done with the pressure of the brush and the sort of characteristic of that kind of calligraphy. Moving up onto the face of the dragon now, I think. Tiger. What am I talking about? I like doing tigers. Tigers are a fun subject. They're difficult to find new poses. Sometimes you don't need to find a new pose. It's easy to make a mess of a tiger and lose some of the power it may need to have. They're challenging, but I always enjoy them. I enjoy doing samurai too. This particular one, Daly didn't mind if it was wearing armor or bare-chested, so I opted for bare-chested so we can add some tattoo detail to the samurai, give him a little bodysuit. Later in this clip, you'll see me doing that. This is lining the hair and some of the calligraphy lines on the clothing there. We got through the main lines of this design in, I think it was maybe about 2.5-3 hours. Then didn't take long to do the stripes in the tiger, and then it was maybe 20 minutes or so to draw on the bodysuit on the samurai, and then maybe another hour and a half to tattoo it. I'll talk about that more when it comes up in the video. Yes, we're doing the scale stripes. You can see there I've joined it into the background on Daly's back piece, that thundercloud, and there'll be some blossoms tumbling through the whole composition that tie it together a little more too. I think we'll be doing a koi carp on the lower leg underneath this composition. He was talking about maybe covering, there's a dragon there, maybe cover that, but I'm not sure if that's going to have the density he wants. It may be a little heavy, so, and it's not a bad tattoo, it's just old. There's plenty of space to do other designs around there that'll tie in nicely with the background. Get nice and clean after doing the stripes. There's usually black ink everywhere. And this is drawing using Sharpies, which I throw away after the session, obviously, when they've been used on broken skin. Drawing in the bounds of the bodysuit, figuring out what it's going to be in there. So I think we went for dragons. So there's a couple of dragons on that side, another dragon on the other. Just pat it dry so I don't smudge it too much. And I lined it in dark blue ink, so it doesn't. Normally I wouldn't line a main part of any design in coloured ink. It doesn't tend to hold up as well, kind of 10, 20 years later. But the blue on this, it's more of an effect. It'll still be there decades from now, but it may not be as readable, but it doesn't need to be. It's just more of a texture in the whole design. And I also filled it in with a kind of stipple effect, so it wasn't solid, and I can layer over some skin tone over the edges of the next to the black lines. Get it nice and clean. Next session I'll probably put the black in the hair. It's always tricky getting photographs of legs because the way the light hits. And when we finish, I'll probably get photographs with a black backdrop and some soft boxes and a real camera.